I am fascinated with how much we rely on screens in the educational programs. How do we get to this point where, with a lack of research around if it's good for our kids to be learning from screens, how do we get to a point where we're just giving it to them without proving that that's the best approach?
That's an interesting question. We were all adopting these devices into our lives without asking that many hard questions, whether
Mhm.
it was in our personal life or in our professional life
Yep.
or even in our children's educational lives. We were accepting these devices and what they were doing without asking that many questions. Fast forward 10 years, we've learned so much about every aspect of the technology industry, enough to know that we don't know enough.
Mhm.
And one thing that brings me a lot of concern is particularly screens in schools, because that was, in a sense, the last bastion of screen-free time that
Yeah.
children had, where they were focused on peers and professionals
Mhm.
to gain the skills they need to have a healthy, productive life. So the
Yeah.
screens really were adopted without a lot of vetting, and children now are on them in some cases, right, from the moment they wake up until the moment they fall asleep.
Yep.
And in some ways, they're almost required to be, because if the school says you have to do your homework on one, or you have to take
Mhm.
tests on it, or you have to interact with peers on it, or you have to turn your test in on it, it puts them in a really difficult situation. And
Yep.
we still have to find out, where is all the data going? How secure are these devices? They have cameras. They
Mhm.
collect other information about children.
Right.
And the big question you started with is, do we know if they even help kids learn anything more effectively than they would
Mhm.
have learned it without the screen?